Oh boy, this is gonna get spicy. Because today we are talking about a guy who, if you told me he would be the subject of this kind of video in 2025, if you had told me that back in 2019, or back in 2020, or 2021, if you had told me back then that we would be having this kind of conversation about this player and discussing whether or not he could get traded or how he's apparently on the block officially, I would have been like, damn, that's crazy. It just didn't go well with the Colorado Avalanche, right? And then if you would have told me, oh no, he's actually playing for Buffalo right now, and he could be traded again, I would have been like, wait, what? Why? This guy's gonna get traded twice in his NHL career before reaching the ripe old age of 24 years old? How in the hell is that possible? Today, we're heading over to a report made by David Pagnotta of the Fourth Period. And this was actually posted and talked about on their NHL News YouTube video from yesterday. The Fourth Period has a YouTube channel, by the way. And the latest episode of the latest NHL News, yeah, that's right, it's the latest of the latest, features Kate Pedersen. Please come back to Vancouver. Everything was so much better when Kate Pedersen was in Vancouver. And David Pagnotta speaking out about Evgeny Malkin, Bowen Byram, Devils moves, and a whole bunch of other coaching stuff regarding the NHL's vacant spots. Kate Pedersen, man, when she was in Vancouver last year, everything went so well. It all went to crap after she left. How is that possible? But still, the latest features David Pagnotta talking about the Buffalo Sabres and Bowen Byram. Here's the quote, courtesy of an article posted on NHLTradeRumors.me by Dave Littman. Bowen Byram's name is expected to pop up again in trade discussions, likely around the draft. It could prolong into July, but expect to hear his name out there again in the trade market as the Sabres look to improve. Oy, oy, oy. Improve? What are you, nuts? Bowen Byram was playing 25 gosh darn minutes a night when Rasmus Dahlin was out from injury, and he looked great in that little stint there. Bo Byram, who already was getting deployed like a number one earlier on in the season and who continued parts of that stretch towards the end, this is a guy who posted up 38 points in 82 games played in his first full season with this hockey team. And you're telling me that you're thinking about trading him because you want to make your team better? What? Now, I am ignoring a lot of what fans are talking about as to why this is going down. Byram has a contract that's expiring. The Sabres may not have as much cap space as they need, even though they've got a boatload of it, to re-sign Byram, to re-sign McLeod, to re-sign Peterka. And the argument that says that, oh yeah, Bowen Byram was riding Rasmus Dahlin's coattails the entire time, even when Dahlin was injured, might you remember that? You would rather decide to spend your money elsewhere and not give it all to a guy who is not necessarily a number one, but who was playing number one minutes, and you get the point. That's essentially the main argument that's existing out there for trading Byram away, especially ever since he got new representation with his agent. So now it's like, yeah, he really wants the bag. But still, man, I just can't shake that idea off. Not to mention the more basic argument that exists too. Oh yeah, Buffalo has Dahlin, Power, and Bowen Byram. All three guys that are left-handed and that could play top pair minutes when they all reach their primes. And that's a fair point to bring up. I don't think it's illogical to think about each of these guys stepping on each other's toes. But I'm thinking about it like, hey, Bowen Byram, if you wanted to force him to play on the right, it's not that bad, especially with Dahlin. And also, I mean, would you really want to sacrifice the talent that is there after you've already invested so much into him? Are you that confident that Dahlin and Power are going to be so good that you won't need the services of a Byram anymore? Just play him on the gosh darn right side. He's fine there. Defense wins championships, or so the saying goes, right? So why not decide to keep this guy around and have his services there? It makes no sense to me. I'm thinking about it like, okay, you traded away Mittelstadt for Byram. I think that was great. I think Byram has so much more potential than Mittelstadt does at this point, and there's more projectable reason to believe that Byram's going to hit it over Casey. But I just don't know if trading him again is the right move. Unless you are getting somebody of exact equal value on the forward core, you don't need to be trading Bowen Byram. Any guy that you're going to get who is young and whatever, like if you traded Byram for Mittelstadt again, you'd be losing that trade in my opinion. There are so few guys in the NHL trade market that are young enough and that would be as good as a Bowen Byram could be to even think about making that sort of a deal work out. Now, let's go and read the same article on NHLTradeRumors.me, which cites the David Pagnotta comments to read why exactly Byram could be traded. Like with the Cousins trade, Adams won't be looking to ship out Byram for futures or draft picks. As Pagnotta correctly notes, the goal next season is to make the playoffs, so any move is going to have that in mind, i.e., it's going to be a hockey trade. Just like the trade that brought Byram in from the Colorado Avalanche at 2024's trade deadline in exchange for Mittelstadt. Byram had a fine season in Buffalo with career highs in assists, points, and a plus-minus rating, while also logging a personal best 22-42 time on ice. He was not to blame for the Sabres missing the playoffs for a record 14th consecutive season, but his pending new salary might be a problem. Long-term deals are already on the books for Rasmus Dahlin, Power, and Matthias Samuelsson, totaling over $23 million a year, not to mention the combined $15 million a year pulled in by Thompson and Norris for several seasons. The Sabres will be trying to re-sign other key RFAs in J.J. Peterka and Ryan McLeod as well. Now, just for reference, Bo Byram is making $3.85 million a year till the end of this season. His contract expires as an RFA. But come on, man. You're like, oh, we signed Samuelsson already. We can't do it again for Byram. We have all these long-term deals shelled out to these other guys, and we gotta re-sign Peterka. Yeah, Byram's the guy that's gotta go. Maybe I am just the biggest Bowen Byram homer on the planet, but I feel like Byram is the guy that you make moves to go around in order to free up the money to get this guy signed onto your team long-term. Hell, it doesn't even need to be long-term. You could just sign the guy. Bring him back. Your goal's to make the playoffs. Okay, you've got $21 million in cap space next year. Sign Bowen Byram. Bring him back. I don't think there's any trade that you're going to be able to make that's going to net a guy who is as valuable or as good as a Byram, whilst having a contract that is not similar to what Byram is going to be able to be getting anyway. Unless you trade for a guy on his ELC, which at that case, it's like, okay, well, you'd have to be really making a strong move, because any guy on his ELC probably doesn't have too much NHL experience, and the guys who are in the NHL and who are worth trading for in that stage of their careers, they wouldn't be available. You're not getting Celebrini or a Demidov or whatever in a Bowen Byram trade. Like, I just don't see there being a fit for what it is the Sabres want with what they're trying to give up and the reasons for it. Oh, they have too much money tied up into other guys. They can't afford to keep Byram. Okay, well, Byram's the kind of guy you make moves to keep. You're not going to win this trade. It's going to be really difficult, and I'll stand by my assessment here. If Buffalo ends up making a trade with Bowen Byram, then we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the pros and the cons, we'll talk about the players coming back, or player, I guess, if it's a hockey trade, and I'll talk about how I'm wrong. That's very fair. I'm very okay to talk about how I make mess-ups and goof-ups on this YouTube channel. It happens decently often, and I'm not going to hide that. So, Buffalo Sabres fans, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel, firstly, about the report that your squad is interested in trading away Bo Byram, and that his name is going to be entering the trade market to potentially get flipped around or shopped around at the trade... No, not the trade deadline, excuse me, at the draft. Is this a guy that you would rather keep? Is this a guy you'd rather trade away? Do you shell out some money to sign this guy long-term? You've already got yourselves 3 longer-term deals in Power, Dahlin, and Samuelsson. What's one more? Or is one more too much? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.